Hello, welcome to my other show. My name is Susan Rushton and this is Muse. This is the show on which I'm privileged to, I'm honored to talk to people who are visited by the Muse. In other words, artists of all stripe. And today my artist guest is Barbra Goodson, who is substitute cellist.
That's right.
Or cellist, because she plays all the time, for the Auburn Symphony. And if you're interested in learning more about the Auburn Symphony, and if you don't know much, please do contact them at auburnsymphony.com or email them auburnsymphonyoffice@gmail.com or drop in to the State Theater office building, 985 Lincoln Way, Suite 102, Tuesday to Friday, 9 to 2. They would be delighted to see you. And please mention my name. Please. Before we get started, Barbra, I want us both to take a look at this lovely photo.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous, and it screams Auburn.
Yes.
And this is the inaugural show that we get to film in front of, and the
I'm honored.
So am I. And it's by our chief cook and bottle washer, Phil Jacques. Thank you, Phil. Okay, when we agreed that you are the substitute cello, but you're there all the time, to explain that.
Well, the maestro likes to have a certain number of each instrument. So in a piece that's very large, he might want to have 10, even 12 cellos.
Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of cellos.
It is a lot of cellos, but Auburn is really blessed with fabulous music, and in particular a cadre of wonderful cello players. So I get a call from the orchestra manager, the personnel manager, and saying, well, we need this many cellos.
Are you available?
Are you available?
Yeah.
Come on down.
Sure.
And if I am, I do.
Yes.
And so that's why I am the substitute. But it's just a matter of how many cellos the maestro wants to have.
Okay. So how long have you been with the Auburn Symphony?
I've been playing with them for about 2 years. I moved to Auburn 3 years ago.
Okay.
And it turned out that I had some friends that live here that I knew from a chamber music camp at Humboldt State University, and I didn't even know that they lived here. And it was like,
there they were.
There they were.
How do I know you?
In the symphony. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
There's Barbra. So, so they didn't have to twist my arm very hard to get me to sign up and audition and all that. So, and it's wonderful.
Yes, yes, I agree with you. Why are you a cellist?
Wow. Because I started playing the flute when I was 7 or 8. Like, all the little girls play the flute.
Okay.
And I had originally wanted to play clarinet because my father plays clarinet, but the orthodontist said that it would make my teeth go buck. So I wanted to play an instrument after I learned the flute that wasn't just one of a million, sea of a million flutists. So I thought, well, not violin? No. How about cello? And so my parents rented me a cello, and I got lessons, and the rest is history.
Okay. So how long has that been?
Let's see. I started cello, I think, when I was about 10 or 11. Which, you know, in these days is kind of late.
Okay.
I mean, I don't really, if you're going to be, you know, a world famous, fabulous musician,
You start when you're 5.
5.
Okay.
Yeah. And
but you had other things to do.
I had some other things to do, but I did do it very seriously, and played in youth symphonies, and then I was a music major at UC Berkeley, and I thought that I would probably have a career as an orchestra musician. And I did that after I got my bachelor's degree, and I did not like the lifestyle. I mean, sitting on the stage and playing was lovely.
That's good, yes.
Wandering around downtown San Jose in the dark in a black dress and with my cello at 10:30 at night, that whole package just wasn't for me. So that's when I decided I was going to go into the technical side of things. But I've continued to play in orchestras and play chamber music ever since.
Okay. And so you bring up the technical side, which means what?
I decided that audio engineering would be really interesting. Basically, being an engineer on recording sessions with all kinds of musicians, and also, for instance, our studio did the tutorials for the Macintosh computer when it first came out, and we had to sign all sorts of waivers and so that because we couldn't tell anybody what was coming because it was so secret. But that I really truly enjoyed that as well. One does not make a tremendous amount of money, and it's a little hard to live in the Bay Area if you don't. You know. So that's when I decided that I would combine my my office skills and my management skills with my love of music, and I became a fundraiser.
Okay.
For symphonies and for universities for their music programs.
Great. And I guess you were successful because you love music and you love it's catching.
Yes, yes.
From a person who is eager and excited, it's catching. Yeah.
Great. Yes, I do really enjoy it, and it's so important. I mean, you were saying Auburn is just so blessed to have such a fantastic orchestra.
Auburn is so blessed. You heard her. Auburn is so blessed. We have
true.
The Auburn Symphony, AuburnSymphony.com. They are starting they're ending, the symphony is ending, excuse me, we are in 2019, this is May, and the last symphony of the season is this weekend.
That's correct.
And if you're in May, you've probably missed it, but you can. They're starting up again in September.
That's correct.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and I can hardly wait. And the September concert is outside.
That's correct, at the park.
At the school park preserve behind the courthouse. Behind the courthouse.
And it's all...
No, not behind the courthouse.
No.
Behind the city hall.
City Hall. That's right.
City Hall.
Sort of across from the high school.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful evening. The place is all lit up, picnics and everything.
Sure.
So it's fun. And if I can say, if anybody who plays the violin or the viola wants to get involved, please contact the office to audition.
Yes.
Because we're doing auditions pretty soon, but as needed, the maestro can audition people as we go along. So violin and viola players are special
and
need.
So violin and viola players, give a shout out to Auburn Symphony Office at gmail.com or auburnsymphony.com or 530-823-6683, or drop on by 985 Lincoln Way, which is the State Theater, Suite 102. I see, and viewers don't see at the moment, I see that you brought your cello. I would love to have you noodle around on it and talk to you about it a little bit.
Sure. Would you like me to pick it up now?
Yes,
okay.
please.
So first, let's have you pluck one of the strings.
Wow.
Now, the only place to not touch is just right here, because that's where the bow goes.
Okay.
But you can touch it anywhere else you like.
Anywhere else I like.
Give it a good... There you go. How about that?
That's beautiful.
And
you can make it sound even prettier.
Well...
or more elegant.
Yes. I think that you heard that the sound, reverberates because the string vibrates, but then it makes all of this wood vibrate as well. And that's what makes the sound so expansive.
Okay.
And I was listening the other day to some of the people talk about, there's a cello player who's going to play Dvorak Cello Concerto next season with the symphony, and they wanted to make sure they had a stand, a platform on which he would sit, and the platform vibrates.
Oh my goodness.
So, and it just fills the hall. I do believe he's playing at Mondavi, so you need all the volume you can get.
Shoot.
Now,
wow.
There's going to be some musicians out there, some cello players are going to say, you know, you're sitting on a really tall chair.
Yeah,
so please excuse me if it's not terribly in tune.
But it's
sort of like playing the string bass here.
Yeah.
But
that's gorgeous. That's gorgeous.
So again, the bow, this is horsehair.
Show the camera.
This is horsehair. No horses were harmed in the manufactures of the bows.
Good.
And the hair, just like our hair, has little bumps all the way along your hair. And that's what makes, when you pull it across the string, that's what makes the string vibrate.
Wow.
So not only, I mean, we have music where we play pizzicato,
Yeah.
and then we have a lot more where you play with the bow.
Yeah.
And that's what makes the note and the sound. And as you saw, my hand, it was here, and I was playing different notes like this. And so what I'm doing is I'm making the string a different length with my finger, and that's what makes different notes.
Yes. Okay. Have you named this cello?
I thought you might ask. Actually, yes.
Yes.
When I was probably, I think I bought this, my parents bought me this cello when I was 15.
Wow.
And I've had it ever since. I'm the very first person to own it.
Oh.
And his name is Johannes, like Johannes Brahms.
Yes.
My favorite composer.
Okay. Wow. I ask every musician, and you're the second person who said, well, yes. Yes. And so this is Johannes.
So I think probably if I purchased a cello, you know, another one, let's say, as the adult that I am now, I might not have named it, but I got this when I was a kid.
You had to. Yeah. Yeah. So is this the only cello you own?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So you and Johannes has served you well.
Very well.
Yeah.
And I take good care of him. And I one of the things I don't do very much is travel with the cello, because you can imagine that air travel is, you have to buy a seat.
Sure.
For the cello.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yes.
But yeah, I take good care of him.
Okay. What kind of wood is that? Do you know?
I don't.
Okay.
I do know that you know, the design of violins and violas and cellos hasn't changed much over the last hundreds of years, except the viola, because it's so big and bulky. I know several viola players that have instruments that are
wide.
Yes, and have funny, this part of it all curved and but
this one, the cellos seem to have stayed the same.
Very much. And as I said, this is a modern instrument. Many people, when they're really getting serious about playing a stringed instrument, they will buy one that is maybe 200 years old. So when my parents first bought this for me in San Francisco, it hadn't been played. And as I played it, it opened up.
Oh, really?
All of the wood fibers and it was amazing. And even I, as a teenager, could see that it was. Yeah, and so it's me.
That's gorgeous.
You know, nobody else has played my cello.
It's your playing that opened it up.
Yes.
That's wonderful.
But I do know it was made in Germany.
Yeah.
And I'm going to find out what the wood is now that you asked
Okay.
me.
Yeah. All right. Well, please, you can put it back on the floor.
Okay, great.
So again, I'm talking to Barbra Goodson, who is the substitute cellist, by which she means she plays all the time, for the Auburn Symphony. And if you're interested in learning more about the Auburn Symphony, please log on to auburnsymphony.com. You will thank me. I would like to know why we are still listening to music that is hundreds of years old.
Because we like it.
Why do we like it? But it's so old.
It's old, but it had tremendous emotional value when it was written, and it still does. Many people, still like to listen to Bach
and Brahms
and Beethoven.
Yeah.
And each is a very different style of music, but each form of music reaches you in a different way. Mm. Even very angular works by Stravinsky. No, it's not sweet and lovely. You don't play it right before you go to bed.
Right.
But it elicits an emotional response in you that is unique. And I think that's why and pieces that don't do that are 10 years old, people don't listen to them anymore.
Yeah.
So the ones that we still listen to, I believe it's because there's such an emotional value in it.
Yes. Is that why you think music is important?
I think it's one of the reasons music is important. We need all the arts. And for me, music is the main artistic form that I enjoy. It not only is it wonderful to listen to, you go see the Auburn Symphony at the Placer High School or at Mondavi. So that is one way that music is important. Another way is that if you are a musician in the orchestra, you learn, even as a child, you learn teamwork. You learn how to invest authority in the director and the maestro, but you also learn to take responsibility for your part and make sure that you're doing it correctly and the way that he or she wants you to do it, and not the way you might want to do it. And just taking your emotional senses through the music, you can really express yourself. So I think every elementary and middle school student everywhere should learn to play music in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. I mean, even if it's the plastic tonette, I think it's still really important.
Yeah. Okay. And since you're talking about children, children are really worried about making mistakes.
Right.
And before we started taping, you mentioned mistakes. And the message I've gotten is that everybody makes them. It's what you do once you recognize you made a mistake.
Exactly.
What happens? What do you do?
That's why we practice.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like leave it on the cutting room floor, right? So you play by yourself, back in the room where no one can hear you, and get it out. And maybe I should try playing that note with a different finger. Or this is really how I need to play this, and I just haven't learned it yet. I need to learn this better, so I play it over and over again. So and if you're going to make a mistake when you're in an orchestra, don't do it during the concert.
Right.
I mean, when you play orchestra music, you have to practice it at home. And there's something really wonderful about, I mean, even though I don't know if anybody would tell you that they really enjoy practicing, but there's a sense of accomplishment and self-discipline.
Yes.
Behind saying, okay, at 7:30 tonight, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to play for this long and I'm going to learn this thing. Even if it's a little tiny piece of music.
Yeah. And it's just amazing that sometimes how long it takes to get that into your fingers, into your brain, into your memory. Yeah.
Sometimes it's astonishing even to us. Why can't I play this?
Yeah. Yeah.
But of course, it's completely worth it. And I have to say that I've played in several orchestras, mostly in a community orchestra that I was in the Bay Area. And I'm blown away by how good the Auburn Symphony is.
Mm-hmm.
Peter Jaffe is phenomenal. And I'm just astounded at how we'll sit down and we'll read through the piece the first time, and nobody's getting lost. Everybody's, oh,
yeah.
this is fabulous.
Yeah.
So we have a treasure. We really do.
I agree. And I've seen lots of other orchestras, and no other musicians stamp on the stage after their conductor leaves, and to bring him back.
Yeah.
And he's going to come back anyway. But because there's all this applause, which is the equivalent of musicians stamping on the stage.
Yes.
But nobody else, I've never seen that in any other orchestra.
Well, we all appreciate him so much.
Just,
we really do.
Oh, gosh.
Even when he makes us mad, we appreciate it.
He makes you mad because...
Oh, do we really have to play that again? You really want me to do what? But he has a plan and he has a vision, and he is bringing that out of us. And so it's worth it when he's, no, that's not exactly what we want.
Yeah.
Please play it again.
Yeah. Okay. So, what advice? No, I want to ask that question later. What do you like about performing as opposed to playing for yourself?
I like the mechanism of I'm on stage with all of these musicians, and some of them over on that side of the orchestra I might not have ever met, but we know what we want to produce, and it's a joy to bring the essence of the music to the audience for their enjoyment. So we enjoy playing it, but we also enjoy the fact that the audience is enjoying it. And when you get done with a really, loud, wonderful piece, and the audience starts clapping and standing up, and there's nothing like that. It's wonderful. And I don't ever take it personally, because I couldn't have done it alone. But that's what the teamwork is.
Yes.
That's what being part of an ensemble is.
Look at what we did.
Yeah. But also, I mean, we could play it perfectly, but if the audience didn't like it.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's really about our pleasure in bringing it to the audience for their enjoyment.
Okay. There's music that makes me weep. I never weep when I'm unhappy about music.
Yeah.
But when I'm, oh my God.
Yes.
What music makes you weep? Or does music make you weep?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much so. I can't really pin it down because so many things move me in different ways. But one of the things, instrument, rather than playing a wind instrument, is that when I do start crying when I'm playing, getting emotional, I have wept while I was playing a piece of music.
Performing.
And, yes. Usually it's because
is it
there's some
Johannes?
meaning. Well, one of them was. Yes, one of them was Brahms. But yes, I would say sometimes it's because of the how meaningful the music sounds to me, or how lovely. Sometimes I've teared up because it's just so ethereally wonderful. So yeah, and I'm one of those people who a tear comes to my eye quite often. So I don't mind.
Yeah.
That's what you're there for. You're there to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you have advice for people who are just starting out?
You mean listening to the symphony?
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Pick a concert where you think, go on the website, look at all the pieces of music they're going to play, and maybe you say, oh, I know that's Beethoven. I've heard Beethoven before and I kind of liked it. Just go to that concert. So you'll be blown away by the atmosphere. I think some people think that orchestra concerts are stuffy and that you know, it's just a bunch of people in
Not
black
if it's
tie.
directed by Peter
There's
Jackson.
yes, nothing stuffy about that. It's fun, and you come in, you sit down, and the hall is magnificent. The orchestra comes out, the music is loud and wonderful. Don't be afraid. Just try it, and I think you're going to like it. And then you can go, you know, buy the music that you like and play it on your phone or whatever. Play it in the car. I always listen to classical music in the car. It's more relaxing than, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't be afraid. That's my advice. Just go out of your safe zone just a tiny bit and go to the symphony. It's not like driving all the way to San Francisco or Sacramento. The Auburn Symphony is right here in Auburn, and as I said, it's a treasure, and you should go experience it. And I really think that it will hook you.
Yes, I agree with you. Of course, I've been in that. I've been hooked for several years.
Right.
Yeah. So, what about beginning musicians? What advice do you have for them?
I think that YouTube is really a wonderful tool at this point for young people to experience a wide variety of musical styles and musical instruments that we never could when we were kids because we didn't have social media, right? See what grabs you, and then again, you don't have to buy an instrument. You can go to the music store and you can rent and start in school. Or you can find a teacher, a private teacher, and I'd say I don't think there is a too young. I think 4 years old is a little too young. My son wanted to learn violin when he was 4, and I said, by the time you're 5, if you still want to, we'll find you a good teacher. But and he stuck with it.
How old is he?
He's 23 now.
Wow!
And he plays the viola. He's tall. He plays viola and electric, rock and roll bass, guitar. So you don't have to stick with one thing. Heck, I played in marching band in college, and I still play marching French horn in a band.
Wow.
So it you know, and that's a whole different concert scenario. So I just try it. That there's nothing to lose, and everything to gain by the joy of being able to express yourself through a musical instrument.
Even though you aren't wonderful all at once.
Oh no!
At the beginning.
No, and it's a little frustrating getting going, but it's totally worth it.
Yes. Do you play for the Symphony Goes to School at all?
I don't, because I have a job that precludes me from doing it during the day. But that program is just the crown jewel of our symphony. And the kids love it. They really do.
Yes, I agree.
Which is great.
Yes. Well, I've been talking to Barbra Goodson, who is substitute cellist. In other words, she's cellist for the Auburn Symphony. You sit way in the back.
I do.
Where you can't be noticed.
That's right.
Yet here you are. If you're interested in learning more about the Auburn Symphony, please log on to auburnsymphony.com. We are taping this in May 2019, which means the 2018-29 what is it?
Season.
The season Thank you,
ending,
is ending. But there's always going to be the other one, the next one. So take a look, investigate, and you can drop by at 985 Lincoln Way, Suite 102. That's in the State Theater building, Tuesday to Friday, 9 to 2. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Barbra, for being my wonderful guest.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks. And I'll see you again.